stay tuned to the Louton show because it's my favorite day of the week, Friday, and for the next 5 to 10 minutes, we'll be talking economics. And I've been writing the Louton report, which is my favorite report to write, so we'll be discussing that. U.S. President Donald J. Trump has now vowed that the economy and stock market will be booming by next week. At this point, nobody really knows for sure what will happen, but we can make predictions. The president chatted with the King of Saudi Arabia yesterday or today and said that he was going to make sure Saudi Arabia and the oil industry was in a better place than it is now, as well as saying in a press conference that the U.S. will turn out in a very good situation, which was important. Only time can really tell how things will be, but it could pay off that he's been so economy-focused. Nobody really knows. I think at this point, the most important thing we can do, which our great country might be able to do really, really well, seeing as we were able to handle 9/11, is pull for each other and pull through, and we will get through this as long as we stand united. I have faith that we as a country have a strong enough spirit that nothing can break us. Hey, 9/11 didn't break us, so we can certainly get through this. And in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. One of our great country's most reputable sources, the Wall Street Journal, says that this hasn't happened before, which is very true. Not even in similar times, like the time of the Spanish flu, did things like this happen. How come? I guess the viruses themselves just weren't as widespread and severe as this coronavirus. Also, trade wasn't as big. Trade was big, it's always been big, but in terms of the stock exchange and stuff like that, not really. We weren't as globalized. As a hobbyist economist, I can also make my own theories, like ones based on the location of the U.S. stock exchange, or ones based on the way that people tend to spread fake news. For example, the stock exchange of the United States is based primarily on Wall Street, which of course is in New York City. Now, some huge investor in Russia or China could read some newspaper or news source, sadly like CNN, which is just trying to scare you, just trying to scare the hell out of you. And they report things much worse than they actually are. Now, things are pretty bad in New York, but, it's the same thing. Like, you tell the story of how you caught the fish. Oh, it was this big this time and that big the next time, and it just keeps growing and growing. So that's the way things happen with unreliable news sources. So someone in a big investor on Wall Street might read something from a reputable yet unreliable news source and say, oh, wow, well, we ain't going to invest in New York anymore. So then that happens enough with enough people, and everybody pulls out millions and millions of dollars worth in shares, and the stock market begins to collapse. This has been happening, I think, and, well, that's my theory anyway, and because of the stock market wasn't so big in the days of the Spanish flu, none of this ever happened, so in a way this is unprecedented. Also, there weren't social media platforms and places where people could spread not thoroughly fact-checked or even purposefully fake statistics. Like, recently the guy was arrested for saying that there would be, test kits purposefully infected with COVID-19. Indeed, there are a lot of unprecedented things going on in economics and in life these days, and we have to come together as a nation, Republicans and Democrats, blacks and whites, poor and rich, and pull through this for our country. So that's a little bit of economy news and commentary. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to sponsor the Louton Show, sure you can. Go to www.patreon.com/theLoutonShow and donate more than $1 to get a shout out. As always, subscribe, like the video, and give me a follow on Twitter, and I promise you won't regret doing any of those. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.